Hey guys, welcome back to another book review here on my YouTube channel. For today's book, we are going to be reviewing the second book in the Lucky River Ranch series by Jessica Peterson, which is Wyatt. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think I gave it like a solid 5 stars. So let's go quickly into the review. So this follows Wyatt and Wyatt Riverthaway and Sally Powell. So let me give you a quick overview of the Lucky River Ranch series. So the entire series follows the 5 Rivers brothers, and the first one is Cash, who I did a review on. So if you want to kind of see sort of the general story of how so far, you can go check out my review. I'll link it in the description box down below if I remember. If not, you can look at under. I have some playlists you can look at. One of them is Cowboy Romance, so it should be in there. I haven't read a ton of Cowboy Romance yet, so or haven't put a lot of reviews up yet, so you can find it there. But this follows Wyatt, who is the younger brother to Cash, like I said, who is the MMC in the first book, and Sally Powell. So Wyatt and Sally Powell were best friends, have been best friends for like over 12 years. And 12 years, and the book actually starts with a prologue 12 years ago when Wyatt's parents died in a car accident from a drunk driver, I believe. So that is sort of like the main overarching trauma that all of these different brothers in the series carry. Which, by the way, I have finished the series except for the 5th book, which comes out April 7th. So I will have full reviews on every other book in the series coming soon, and I'm going to pre-order the 5th book very soon because I just want to read it. But what I think is interesting is, although all these characters come with, like, in some aspects, the same trauma, having lost their parents 12 years ago, the way that they deal with that trauma is also different, and you get to see it differently throughout each book. So that's what creates a sense of uniqueness. But I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. I like that you get to follow all of the brothers. So more into this book specifically. So like I said, Sally Powell, her parents also work basically for the Lucky River Ranch, sort of. Her mother is the chef who cooks all the meals that the family and all the people that work on the ranch eat, except for weekend. She does breakfast, lunch, and I believe she preps dinners for them, but doesn't do any meals on the weekend. But she will prep food for them to eat on the weekend. And then Sally Powell's father is a vet, so he takes care of the animals, not just on their ranch. Like, he doesn't specifically work for the ranch. He's just like one of the local vets that goes to different ranches. But he is pretty good, obviously, friends with everybody on the ranch. And like I said, Wyatt and Sally are best friends. And in the prologue, she comes to see him because initially she was like, I don't think I'll be able to leave school to come to your parents' funeral. But then she pushes everything aside and tells her teachers, can I like have extensional assignments because she's in school in the prologue to be able to come to his parents' funeral. So that was like 12 years ago. The prologue was 12 years ago, and then we fast forward to now in the present. Basically, Sally is back for the summer, and she's working with her dad. I believe it's the summer, if I'm not mistaken. But no, she was there for the summer all the way through up until, I believe, December, if I'm not mistaken. And she's working with her father, but she got a job at, I think it was, what was it, Northeastern University. And that was like kind of in some aspects her father's dream job, but he wasn't able to achieve that and get there. And so he's really excited for her to do it. But she, throughout the book, she's sort of feeling like maybe she wants to stay in Hartsville, but her father keeps saying, like, you have this big opportunity, you have this big job where you can do something. And she sort of feels like the job is just really not about caring for saving the animals' lives and all that stuff. And she sort of feels a pull to stay here. Her father's like, no, you have to do this, like, you're achieving great things. And so she sort of feels this pressure of like, do I have to go because my father? And so that's sort of like the whole thing in the story. And then obviously she's slowly connecting with Wyatt. And one of the things she wants to do before she leaves, because she still thinks that she's going to leave for the job, is she wants to just have fun with the cowboy. And so she was like, well, how do I get one and all that stuff? And so Wyatt agrees to teach her. So it's like a friends with sort of benefits scenario, which I tend to like those tropes. But it's sort of like it's similar to a book that I read, a hockey romance book, The Wingman by Stephanie Archer, where they are best friends, and he's agreeing to show her how to be like, because in The Wingman, by Stephanie Archer. She wants to be like a playboy, kind of like he is, like being able to just have fun and casual things with anybody. But then they end up connecting and falling in love, and this is what sort of happens in this book, where it's a similar concept where she just like wants to figure out how to have fun with Cowboy. He's like, I will show you the ropes, and like literally, and then they end up like falling in love throughout. And I tend to, that's another trope I like, along with obviously forced proximity, which this has that because it's small town romance. They're not like, she doesn't live on the ranch. Some of them they do end up living on the ranch, like Molly and Cash. That was true, like forced proximity, where they're living on the ranch. But she doesn't. Again, it's small town romance, and forced proximity, and friends to lovers too. That is one of my favorite tropes, especially when they're best friends, because just like they already know so much about each other and they already care so much about each other, and you just get to see that relationship deepen as they fall in love, and that is just so beautiful. Which is probably why I give this one a solid 5 stars, because I'm a sucker for a good friends to lovers, especially best friends to lovers. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and then towards the end of the book, they fall in love, and there's something like that happens. I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but there's something that happens that her father ends up thinking that it's because of him that she's staying, and he had told, like her father had told him, like, don't make her stay, like she has this big opportunity. And then a whole thing happens. I'm not gonna spoil that. But then he ends up being like, no, I was actually gonna go with her to New York. Like he was like willing to move all the way to New York City, where her job was gonna be, to be with her because he loved her that much. And she ends up saying, no, like I'm staying because I want to. It has nothing to do with him. It's like, I love it here. And I want to be here, and I feel like I can have a big impact here, and it would feel like home to be here, and I would be super happy to be here. So yeah, again, major tropes: forced proximity, small town romance, cowboy romance, friends to lovers, specifically best friends to lovers, which is like one of my favorites. So yeah, again, 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. So I would suggest you pick it up if you're interested in cowboy romance. I have been thoroughly enjoying this series, and I'm going to be reading some more series, so you'll see more cowboy romance reviews coming up soon, as well as reviews of the rest of the books in the series, since I did finish the next 2 books in the series. But that is all for this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss another brand new video from me. If you have any more recommendations for cowboy romance series I should read, please leave them in the comments down below. I did order the 2 series from Elsie Silver. I don't remember what they're called. I think one of them is a Chestnut Springs series. I know one of them has like Fearless, I think Powerless, Heartless, Hopeless, and the other one has like Wild Eyes or something. I don't remember the names, but I got a really good deal to get. I got like all those 9 books from the series for like $92 on Amazon, which is like $10 a book, which is a really good deal. So those will probably be the next cowboy romance series I'm reading. But if you have recommendations for other ones, please let me know in the comments down below. You can also follow me at RomanceBLVD, that means Romance Boulevard, on Instagram, and Romance Boulevard fully spelled out on TikTok. I'm also on Threads, so a lot of the same content that you see on Instagram you can also find on Threads. Bye.